This is Austin Trevino with The Slate. Today we'll be talking about the recent November 16th Artemis launch. I got to go down for the launch, and before the launch I got to talk to astronauts from ESA, including Luca Parmitano and Alexander Gerst, two astronauts from ESA that could be on future Artemis missions.
Name, your title, and a fun fact about yourself.
Certainly. My name is Luca Parmitano. I'm an astronaut with the European Astronaut Corps, the European Space Agency. My background is flying. I come from military background. I still am a colonel in the Italian Air Force. I was a fighter pilot, a test pilot, and a fun fact about me, I think, that connected to my job is that I think I might have a spot in people's memory because I'm the one and only astronaut that risked drowning in space during an EVA.
Not sure. I'm not good at spontaneous fun facts. So let's just start.
All right, name and title then.
My name is Alex Gerst, ESA astronaut.
All right. How long have you been involved with the Artemis project?
Oh wow! I think I've been involved with the Artemis project pretty much as long as it exists, right? So when I started work for ESA and NASA, there were still the times of the Constellation program, and some of the hardware is going back to those days. And also when I worked on the International Space Station on the first one of my missions, I actually received the ATV-5. That's the automated transfer vehicle from the European Space Agency, a cargo spacecraft that supplied the space station with cargo. And that was basically the basis for the European service module that we have right now on the Orion spaceship.
So Artemis project encloses many things. Right now we are really in the test phase. So as you know, this is an uncrewed test. So our participation as the European Space Agency is really in the systems. We build the service module for the Orion capsule, for the Orion system. So we are here to represent our presence, to be there both physically and with our products and with our desire to be part of this experience. Now, from the point of view of an astronaut going into the Artemis program, that's starting right now, and not only for the European astronauts but also for the NASA astronauts. We are starting to look at the cockpit design, the cockpit integration, human interface, and we will be part of that. As a matter of fact, I will be moving to Houston next year to be part of those projects with my test piloting background. So we have been more part as European astronauts of the Gateway program, which is also part of the moon exploration. The Gateway, I don't know if you guys have heard about it, is this habitat that will be in orbit around the moon to allow us to have a more permanent presence on the moon by making it more sustainable. We go to Gateway rather than directly on the moon. We go to Gateway, then we have a system that let us go back and forth to the surface of the moon. The Gateway is being built right now in Europe, in Italy as a matter of fact, in my home country, and we recently saw the picture of the first parts that are being welded together. And because we're going to be living inside for a relatively extended amount of time, we have been working we'll be working on how it's going to look inside, so that the people working inside are going to be comfortable, and on the outside, in case we have to make repairs, extravehicular activities. We are experiencing that. Other than those two where I almost drowned, I also did 4 more later on in my career. So I have about 30 hours of EVAs on my as experience. Thousands of hours underwater performing extravehicular activities training, and so we also provided our expertise on that.
But I think you got to take one step after the other. The next thing we really want to see is to see how Artemis 1 as this test launch fares, how it's going, how the mission plays out, and then of course, the next mission start. This is the beginning of a new era for human spaceflight. So the fact that we're all in this together is already a great thing. That Europe plays an important role, is on the critical path for this mission. Also, not only in the Orion spacecraft, but also in the Gateway. That is important for us, of course. And so, if if there's a European astronaut flying on one of these. It looks like there will be. It's great to see, most of all for Europe, for this international partnership. And then if I could be one of them, of course I wouldn't say no. As a geophysicist, it would be a lot of fun for me to have a look at the moon and to understand it better and to do science there. But again, it's not about which person flies, it's about the program itself. So this one is different. And we could see this right from the start for the Artemis program, because it's an international program. And it's the same philosophy than we had at the International Space Station Corporation. It's an international project which has the advantage of bringing together forces from all over the world. Everybody brings to the table of what they're best at. And the second thing is political stability, because it's much harder to cancel an international project because, when maybe government changes or some things change, you don't want to pull out of an international project because you would sort of a little bit lose faith with your partner. So international programs deliver stability much more than just national projects. And that is probably one of the secrets of success of the International Space Station and of the Artemis program. So the fact that we're here as Europeans, with our American friends, with our Canadian, with Japanese friends, all together working on this all together is such a great feeling, because of course we've been working all along the last decades, and now seeing this rocket finally launch, setting off a new era for human spaceflight towards the moon in a sustainable, scientific way, that gets me excited. And not just because I'm a geophysicist, but also because I'm an explorer by heart.
What do you hope most to see from the Artemis program and humankind working together to get into space?
Well, you said it. Well, you said it. So Artemis has some unique characteristics. It shows our desire to do something that's really hard, really, really hard. One of your most famous presidents said, we do these things not because they're easy, but because they're hard. We want to do these hard things, but for the first time in history, we are trying to do it together. Not as a country, but as a community of countries that want to achieve something globally. And guess what? It demonstrates that there are two ways in which you create unity. One way to create unity is fear. If you take an enemy and you look at everybody and says, this is our enemy, we all fight together against this enemy. Like what happened with the global pandemic, we said we have to stay united and we have to stay together fighting this common enemy that is a virus. It could be anything. But it uses something negative like fear to create something powerful like unity. But the other way is much better, and it's using a dream, a common dream. And exploration is part of who we are as humans, because it is part of that innate feeling that drives you 14 hours from Pennsylvania to KC to interview people and to experience something out of curiosity. Curiosity is what drives exploration. Curiosity is it's what started the whole project to build a rocket behind us. And so that common human dream that nowadays we're trying to realize together as a community of spacefaring nations, I just hope that it's just the first step to make it even more global.
The launch was truly a sight to behold, and to know that it could lead to the future Artemis missions, taking us back to the moon and further. This truly was a great moment in human history. That's all from the slate. Have a good night.